Well, good evening, everyone. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Hey, I made the mistake of starting to clean up my space, and you know how when you clean up, everything looks worse before it looks better? Well, I'm in the it looks worse stage right now. So hopefully I have all of the supplies that I need for tonight's live. But anyway, I wanted to share with you a mini Slimline card. Stampin' Up! In their new mini catalog have Slimline card elements, sentiments and such, and envelopes. So let me just show you a couple of the envelopes. So this is the size. It's like a business size envelope. Really cute on the inside here, decorated up. And there's 15 in a pack. There's the white, if I can get my fingers to work, the gray, and then the green, the soft succulent. I find a regular size Slimline card a little daunting. The fact that there is so much space, I have troubles filling it, so to speak. So what I decided to do was make then the mini Slimline card. But then what do I do for an envelope? I'm going to show you using one of these envelopes. Then the regular Slimline, we're going to cut it down and we're going to create one to fit the mini Slimline card. What makes it mini? It is 6 inches by 3.5 when it's folded. So that means whenever you cut your card base, you're going to cut it 7 by 6. Score it right in the middle. Have the 7-inch side up in your scoring tool, and score it then at the 3.5. All right. So that's how to make the mini Slimline. I also am loving stenciling using the blending brushes. So I wanted to do a little bit of an ombre effect here using some of the new, also out of the mini catalog, the butterflies and flowers layering decorative masks. I call them stencils, so I have a hard time calling them masks, but that's what we're going to do. So I am using this one for the background. There are a couple other ones. I don't know. Let me just grab a sheet of scrap paper and see if I can get it so you can see then the design here. Then what makes it sort of like the multi-layer is then there's the butterfly, and then you put the more detailed over top. Same with some flowers. Let me pull out some of the other ones. So there are several that it's sort of like a 2-step, 3-step type of effect. And then I didn't show you this viney one as well. But I decided to go with this design for my background. Let me just show you the butterfly real quick while I'm thinking about it. So here is the butterfly. I did the body, the solid was done with some Mango Melody and pumpkin pie, just kind of doing that around the edges, the pumpkin pie. And then I came in using black to highlight with the step 2 of that stencil, the second layer. So hand fussy cut it out. I know what's going on with me. I don't fussy cut. So for me to do that. And then I just did, I don't know if you can tell some of the dimension that's on it. I just used sort of my bone folder, sort of that curly ribbon effect, how you just sort of kind of pull on it just to allow the cardstock to kind of curl. And then I just ever so gently folded it up to give it that effect. And I'm probably going to put then a dimensional right here along his body and put it on a card that way. So that's one of the 2-steppers that's in that stenciling kit. So let me just go over some of the supplies then you're going to need for the card. We'll get into the envelope afterwards. Like I said, my card base is the thick white, basic white, 7 by 6. It is scored from the 7-inch side going down at 3.5. I have a piece of crumb cake. This measures 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. Then I already have it in my stencil here. I like to line it up, and then I like to tape from the back just to hold it in place. That's actually a piece of Pool Party, and it is an 1/8 of an inch smaller than the crumb cake. That means it's 3 1/8 by 5 5/8. So let's do a little ink blending here. All right. So the colors I'm using are the Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and the Bermuda Bay. I just kind of wanted an ombre effect on this. So I have my blending brush. I just like to sometimes make sure that I have the dark color out of it, because when I did this, of course, you know, you start with your light, so that means the Pool Party. And then let me get stuff out of the way because I'm bound to get it in my ink pad. But I start with your lightest, go to your darkest then. So I've inked it up, and I'm going to just go ahead and get started on this. Now, if you don't like that it moves around on you, then go ahead and tape it down to your work surface. I'm just going to hold on to it this way. So let me just do a little bit more of this. I am very heavy-handed when it comes to blending. So I just am. So that's sort of a curse, I guess, for me. Now notice I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm going to go straight into the Coastal Cabana. It's okay. I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to come. I kind of am going at a diagonal with my colors. So I am just going to do that with the Coastal Cabana also, overlapping where I put the Pool Party. So I want to do this so that it's slightly darker than the Pool Party. All right. And I don't know if you noticed, but I go in a circle direction one way and then circle around the other way then. That way I know that I'm getting into these little openings and filling it all in. Now, sometimes what I'll do is I will come back, kind of guess, since this is the colors are so close, there's still a little bit of ink sitting on top of the stencil itself. So I'll just go back, and that way it helps to blend between the two colors then. Bermuda Bay. Let's get going on it. That's your darkest. So let me just go ahead. Yep, I'm going straight into it. I'm not cleaning off anything. So now I know that I have this bottom edge to do. You know what? Will it bother you if I flip it? It'll just be easier for me to hold on to it. So sorry if that's if I'm confusing you. So I like to hold my blending brushes at the top. I just feel like I have better control. That also, I think, is why I am heavy-handed with it, because you can put more pressure on it when you're holding it from the top. If I were to hold it at the handle part, then you're not applying as much pressure because of the way these are made, and they are very bendy. So I like to eliminate the bend and just get in there and get going on getting that blending done. So, all right. I always love the ta-da moment. So here again, I'm just wipe cleaning off my brush just a little bit, and now I'm going to go back and just kind of blend in between them, that Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay. All right, are you ready? Drum roll, please. So I can hear the oohs and the ahs happening. I clean my stencil off first real quick with just a wet rag, just to get the ink off. If it stains, then I'll take it to the sink and use soap and water on it then, if need be. So what I'm using to hold it down is just Post-it note tape. You can get it on Amazon, Walmart, all kinds of places. So that is what I use there. So let me just get that off, and now we're ready to go. Let's get this put together. It doesn't take long, as you could see. You know, that hardly took any time at all. So let's go ahead and get this adhered down. Let me make sure I have a glue bottle that's fairly full. So, all right, so now let me get the pool party adhered down. And yes, I picked a glue bottle that doesn't work. All right, so let me try the next one. Like I said, since I've cleaned my desk off, I have all kinds of glue bottles now, so we're good. Now that we got one that works. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this down to the crumb cake. And now I'm gonna adhere this down to the card base. It's fun sometimes to just get a different size of card. Now this will go through the mail just fine, no extra postage. I had made a few Christmas cards that I did send off to some family and friends. Very few. Most of mine I donated. And I did a couple Slimline cards, and they went right through. So not a problem there. All right, next up, let me bring back all of the rest of the things here. All right, I have 2 half-inch strips of white cardstock that I have stamped sentiments in using basic gray ink. I'll show you where I got those sentiments from. I also die cut out these 2 vellum hearts. I thought that one was just not enough. Layering up 2 gave me just a nice hint of something in the background. So let me show you the sentiments. First, the You Make My Heart Happy comes from this adorable celebration set, the Catching Butterflies. Hang on, it's over here somewhere. The Happy Valentine's Day is actually from then the Sweet Conversations set. This was the set I used last week to create a card and a treat holder. So those are my 2 sentiment strips, and I just then banner cut them there. The hearts came from, let me show you the stamp set. All of these things, well, not the celebration set, that's out of the celebration catalog. Everything else is out of the new mini catalog. But the hearts are part of the bundle here, this bouquet of love. It's the love and happiness set. It also includes a embossing folder. So this was the heart that I used, and then the heavy vellum cardstock. So instead of just gluing these 2 together right off the bat, what I'm going to do is, and I don't think you can see it, so let me bring in, maybe bringing this will help. I have my dimensionals on the back, so I am going to go ahead and get my sentiment strips down first on just one of the hearts. All right, so let me try. You notice I got quiet. That's because I'm concentrating. Now I have the second one here. If you want to, here's a trick. You know how I always talk about the glue giving you some wiggle room. If ever you want to have a little bit of wiggle room whenever you're using your dimensionals, is just put a little bit of glue on it, of your liquid glue. And that will allow it to then wiggle a little bit for you, you know, and give you that time that you need before pressing it down. Okay, so there's my sentiment heart. So now what I'm going to do is flip this over. Where the strips are on the vellum is where I'm going to put my adhesive. Not quite that much, Linda, goodness gracious. But this way it will be hidden. So now I'm going to find my other heart and I'm just going to layer it up with it. So where the glue is hidden even between when I'm sandwiching the two hearts together to make the two layers. Unless you got too much and then it's seeping through. So now I'll go back and put another little, notice I'm saying that, blob of glue. And now I can set this onto my card. All right, got to jazz it up a little bit. Couple of the classic matte dots. I like the ones in the gray. I thought they would pull out then the gray that I used to do my sentiments in. So let me get a couple of those and get those two on the heart, and I'm going to put one right here on the sentiment. Whoops. There we go. And now my card's complete. But we do need an envelope in which to slide this card in. So let's get started on the envelope then. Again, I'm going to use a gray one, just to stick with that, the color scheme that I have. All right, so let me find my paper trimmer. I'm gonna do a little bit of scoring and a little bit of cutting. So let me see if I can get this in here. So I am going to start at the bottom of the envelope. This is what I'm going to do I'll adjust, I'm gonna cut it and resize it from there. All right, so from the bottom, I'm going to start first at the 2 1/4. Let me make sure that I'm in frame. Okay, I moved the cutter out of the way and I'm going to use, excuse me, I'm going to use the scoring tool, scoring portion here. Let me do that at 2 1/4. I'm not quite there. Okay, so the scoring blade, I guess I'll say. So a couple times back and forth, and there I have it scored. Now I'm going to come to 1 1/2, kind of backwards from what we normally do. Normally we cut then score. This just worked a little better for me. So now I'm at 1 1/2 and I'm going to cut. So there we go. So we just have this little piece here that is like 3/4 of an inch. So let me get my paper trimmer out of the way. So we still have the flap. Problem is now we're open at the bottom. So I need to get my paper snips, and along the sides of the envelope, I'm just going to cut a little bit. I'm just going to cut up to that 3/4 inch score line. Okay, now I'm on the back of the envelope. This piece here, we need to cut away completely. Just get rid of it. All right. So what I found easiest to do, because it does get a little snug in there, just fold the other piece away from you. So that way I am able to get at this without any problems. All right. So I'm on them from the back. I'm going to cut along my score line and completely get rid of that. The only thing, be careful you're not cutting off this front flap, okay? So, there we go. That's kind of why I like to get it out of the way. Now, this doesn't have to be neat, which obviously it isn't. All right, so we have the back flap, or this is what we're going to fold then to the front, all right, to close it up. All I'm going to do now is kind of miter the corners a bit. Here on the regular Slimline, they rounded the corners. If you have a paper, or rather a corner rounder, and want to use that, you can. I just went ahead and just mitered my corners. All right, so now I am going to put a little bit of glue on this flap. And because we have it scored, it'll just fold right up. Let me find my bone folder. It's here somewhere. And there we go. It is now in place. And we have an envelope to fit our mini Slimline card. All right, fun. Yeah. So there it is. Nice, nice. So lots of fun stuff to find in that new mini catalog. This was one of them. Like I said, I love doing ink blending. So this was right up my alley when I saw these new stencils that are in there. So I'll have to do something with that butterfly that I showed you earlier and see what I'm going to make with that. So who knows? But anyway, hey guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. And yeah, stay warm. It's a little chilly here in Pittsburgh, PA. But yeah, hopefully it will soon pass, because we have been spoiled. Not a white Christmas, it was a warm Christmas, relatively speaking. So, but I'm okay with that. But anyway, hey guys, have a wonderful week. I will see you next Sunday, and hope you get to be creative today. Bye now.